How's it going, guys? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting. Welcome back to SeaBed. Oh man! So last week we had a pretty awesome, convincing, scary story by Lily, giving some more revelations and hinting once again at this idea that there's kind of parallel worlds in this scenario. That we're having two separate world interactions, possibly. It may not be the actual answer, but it had the same kind of story where in the Takako timeline they have these old stories about people vanishing out of nowhere from the sanatorium, and then on Sachiko's timeline there's an older woman who used to see people flitting in and out and would claim and said it was like seeing into another world, and then when she herself vanished inexplicably. Now, obviously, it could be just hyperbole and, you know, just telling a scary story, but if there's truth to it, there's something there. We also got to see a tip that was kind of a flashback for, we're assuming, either is Lily or maybe her sister, when they were kind of setting up and when she went to Tokyo to meet an old friend and to get some furniture, kind of getting to look into that kind of. It was interesting. I don't know if we learned anything too important there. It was just interesting in general. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Once again, still, don't really know. However, we did get an interesting set of comments today. You guys, I guess I didn't mention it, so there's good reason for you to think this, but I think you guys think that I forgot a lot of very interesting imagery because everyone commented on it pretty much. Today's comment I want to read is by Tendrasi. It sounds like a name from Game of Thrones. Tendraisa. Gosh darn it, I always stumble on names every time, even if I say it right the first time. And they say, side note, if you don't remember, the gift Takako mentioned she was drawing one earlier in high school memory ages ago, so Sachiko said the clover was the present. I remember that. Pardon me. I also remember clovers, especially in their childhood, have been very, very prominent symbolism. And that is something I definitely think I've been paying a lot of attention to. Because there was the talk about the clover, like when they found the clover, and then Takako made a present that was a painting of a four-leaf clover. And Takako, if you remember, when she went to town that one time, like getting ready for Christmas, she went to the art gallery, and at the end of an art gallery, one of the lining of the paintings was a painting of a clover. Like, that was the same picture, or at least very, very similar. And you can't see this, but whenever I load up the game, you know, you have your taskbar at the bottom of the screen that has like the different icons for the different programs that are typically running. I said I have two screens. While I'm watching this screen for the game, I can see on the side, I can see the icons, and the icon for this game is the four-leaf clover picture. However, the colors that I witness on it are gold, yellow, orange, and purple. They're all fall colors. And if I remember correctly from the last part, she painted it in colors that were like pretty much the same. Like, I think it had like yellow for spring, green for fall, that's the different color, red for fall, and purple for winter, like the whole life cycle of the clover. But that's the thing, is like, it seems like we have a second yellow in place of a green, so I don't know if that means anything. But, you know, clovers are very heavily symbolized, and I believe they're meant to be a symbol of the friendship and bond between Sachiko and Takako. So we'll keep an eye out for more of those, definitely. Anyway, now we're coming back to Sachiko, and it's funny because like last part, Sachiko was taking a nap. This section apparently, when I was saving the file, was called Sachiko napping. So I'm guessing we're at the end of it because she's waking up. Anyway, let's get to it. I sensed a shadow pass over the yellow light filtering through my eyelids. Edged by curiosity, I opened my eyes to see what it was. Slanted sun rays covered the table I'd been hugging, creating a gleaming patchwork of light as they passed through the branches of the camphor tree beyond the window. Hello. I'm still in my blurry field of view. I spot Narasaki, standing by the bookshelf. When did you come here? Oh, good morning. A blanket slid down my shoulders as I raised my upper body. Was she there all night? Oh, that would kill the back. I felt dizzy and pressed my thumb against my temples. I had a dream. What kind? Well, after I straightened my back and used the palm to iron the wrinkles out of my clothes, I began telling her about the dream. The misty haze blanketing my mind slowly withdrew. Does that question have something to do with my condition? Not really, said Narasaki as she sat down in the chair before me. I read a book about the interpretation of dreams the other day. Oh, that sounds interesting. Though it doesn't sound much like you. The corners of Narasaki's lips curled up. I'm sure I said this before, but I've got a profound sense of curiosity. Anyway, my dream started with me and Takako in the bus. Oh, that was a different voice. My dream started with me and Takako in the bus. It was going through what looked like the countryside, then we got into a tunnel. Passing that, we emerged into a city I've never seen before. I got worried, and after discussing with Takako, got off the bus together. We walked around a bit, but no matter where we went, the place kept feeling completely unfamiliar to us. Then Takako said she wanted to climb the mountain we saw in the distance. She said she could figure out where we were from a higher vantage point. So we climbed the mountain together. The details have become foggy now, but I can remember the gist of it. Does that tell you anything? At least 3 things, I guess. From just that. First, riding in a bus symbolizes being influenced by others regardless of your will. A place you don't know represents your dissatisfaction and a wish for a change in your current life. Finally, climbing a mountain means working hard towards a certain goal. I'm not of the opinion that dreams are super understandable, I guess. I don't know. I think you can definitely draw some hints at your subconscious through your dreams, but your dreams are ultimately your brain making sense of random neuronal firing. And this is coming from someone who has really vivid dreams. Like, as in 2 weeks ago, I could hardly sleep at night because I kept having these really intense dreams. I don't have really typical, like, super nightmares. Like, if a dream does get, like, really scary to the point where, like, I'm panicking, I will actually wake myself up every time. There's a part of me somehow that really, I'm pretty aware that I'm in a dream. And I have lots of lucid dreams, and I have most of my dreams are what I call semi-lucid dreams, which is where I don't have control of the dream per se, but I always know in the back of my mind that I don't have to stay there, and that's why I always get out when it gets too scary. So rather, the closest things I have to nightmares are dreams that are intense, where things looks dangerous, or I'm close to danger, and things are, or like people I care about are at risk. And while I'm scared, I can't look away because I'm too interested to see what's going to happen and see if I can pull off whatever I'm trying to do. But they don't really lend to good sleep, especially when I fail a lot in my dreams. And they go through all kinds of scenarios too. Like, there was one where we were under attack by a highly sophisticated, like, coordinated assault. Like, someone with lots of technology, and it was really scary. Me and a friend were in a basement trying not to die, kind of a thing. There's another dream where it was a zombie apocalypse. I have those fairly routinely. They're pretty intense. And then there's another one where we were just like lost in the woods trying to get out, but we were like slowly like running out of food and water and and survival stuff. Like those kind of dreams, I find them too intense, and like I wake up feeling like I didn't get any rest at all. So I was really tired. But I still don't think that those dreams are really trying to tell me anything. And I feel like if you get too caught up in dream interpretation, you can start thinking illogical things. Well, does any of those ring a bell? When you put it like that. Now I thought about it, the whole thing about the bus and how we got off reminded me of how Takako and I quit our jobs in the city. Oh, that was before they set their own business. What happened afterwards? Then, it all kind of changed. Before I knew it, I was dreaming about going to my old home in the country. The city turned into my old town, but we were still climbing a steep hill together. Yeah, I remember our old town having a lot of tall hills. Yeah, and when we reached the top, we could see the entire place from high above. We sat down on a bench and gazed at the sunset for a while. Then I realized I lost my wallet, but found it almost immediately afterwards. The money in it was all gone, but I was just happy to have it back. Narasaki's expression grew somewhat mellow. That's good. They say the seeing countryside of your dreams means your mind is stabilizing itself and your imagination has become richer. Really? I didn't necessarily feel that way, but her previous comments hit close to the mark, so hearing that made me feel a little relieved. Losing something means being turned down in love, while finding something means being successful in your romantic relationship. Yeah, interesting. So what does it mean if you lose something but find it soon afterwards? I'm not sure. Narasaki shook her head, making an embarrassed smile. Well, it's pretty much fortune telling, so don't take it too seriously. Oh, that's what she said. So it's pretty much fortune telling, so don't take it too seriously. Oh, that's good. I'm glad. The first part felt accurate enough, but I'm not sure about the rest. Well, the point is that you have fun. I'm surprised you remember everything so well, though. I'm good at remembering dreams. And I get tired easily these days, so I keep falling asleep everywhere. I suppose shallow sleep like that results in a lot of dreams. Is that where your dream ended? No, there's a bit more. Later, I met a person that claimed to know me, even though I didn't recognize them. Still, they said we were in the same class. When I tried thinking about it, I realized this person participated in a party we had shortly before I left to move to the city. What kind of person was it? In dreams, people you don't know tend to be your idolized versions of various traits. I think that's kind of not true, but whatever. Really? I couldn't see their face, though. And the dream ended there. So did the party actually happen in the real world? I felt a little strange. Something wrong? I tried remembering who that person was, but couldn't. And when I thought about the party, I realized it was something that happened in another dream I had. I'd totally forgotten about it until then, though. You mean you remember one of your dreams in another dream? I think so, yes. Narasaki slowly recrossed her legs. Oh, gonna be expose about dreams there. One of the coolest things about my dreams that I love is that they can be narratives. I'll sometimes have like a week or two where pretty much every time I go to sleep, I have the same dream, except it'll progress in like a story, and then I wake up. But then the next night, it'll replay some of like the last parts and then continue on. And so for over the course of like a couple weeks, I'll get this huge like story with characters and action and adventure kind of stuff. But these narratives aren't always super cognitive and consecutive in a way. Like I swear, during high school, I had a set of dreams, and I still remember this vividly. The dreams were about some kind of calamity befell the world. I believe the biggest impression that I got was it was some kind of global warming fiasco or whatever, because I didn't even really understand global warming back then, I don't think. Like, not truly what the science was behind it all, just kind of like heard the terms thrown around. But like, the world had like flooded, like the water had risen, and like it wasn't like it was all underwater, but like it pretty much just ruined like pretty much all organized like government and such, and so we were just kind of on our own trying to like survive. And I remembered this exodus travel through the mountains in the west and the various things that we did in this dream. But the thing is that I would have this recurring dream that would be this narrative that would then repeat itself a little bit and progress the story where it left off, but it would happen every January, one night, but it was super vivid and really easy to remember. And then the next year in January, I would have the same dream and continued on. It was like a 4 or 5 part dream sequence. And for some reason it was January, every year in January when it triggered. I don't know. It was strange. But I love dreams so much. Like, I love my dreams. I don't know. Apparently some people don't dream in color, or they don't have people who they recognize ever in their dreams. Like, I do. I don't always, and I usually have the situation where, like, the people in my dreams aren't real people, but my dream self recognizes them, knows their names, and talks to them. But, like, I always dream in full color. And, I even have sensations of touch and temperature in my dreams, which is weird. I had one really strange dream one time where, like, the whole thing, it seemed like it was just showing me that I could feel something hot and something cold at the same time in a dream that wasn't happening. And that was really cool. So, anyway, dreams are fun. If you have any cool dream experiences or any, like, insights based on what I've said, I'd love to hear it, because dreams they're so singular and they're so different. Like Dr. Narasaki here, I love talking about dreams and hearing people's dreams and discussing dreams, but I just don't like it when people describe, like, the information based on dreams, because it seems too finicky for me. Because my dreams, they really can't be trusted if they were symbolic, because I control them most of the time. I have a way of, like, altering them if I really need to. And so, like, it just seems weird that I would be able to draw meaning from something I could literally manipulate. Well, it's hardly an impossible phenomena, remembering other dreams inside a dream. Yeah, though I've never experienced it myself. I don't think I've ever done that either. I remembered things in dreams, like remembered previous dreams. Okay, I guess that is true. Like when I do the replaying of the dream, that's me remembering a dream and then continuing it. So I guess I do that all the time. When you're awake, it's difficult to remember dreams, but easy to recall things you did during your waking hours. The opposite is also true. Why does it work that way? Because your memories are separated into two categories, one pertaining to reality and another to dreams. I'm not sure. Our memories are categorized and stored via topics, you could say. Like our hippocampus is a great index, and it compiles our memories from impressions. It puts them together. That's why memories change over time, and they're not super stable. It's a way of being efficient with large amounts of knowledge, but it has its drawbacks of accuracy. And so I've never heard in my study, I only went to a couple psych classes in college, so I'm no pro. But as far as I know, there really is no grounding for an idea that there are memories of reality and dreams stored in different parts of the brain. It'd all be put in the same places, just categorized slightly differently. Your brain can tell when you're dreaming and stores your dream memories in a different place so the two don't get mixed up. Maybe that's true. If it does do that, then it does it in a very complex way based on the rest of the way the hippocampus works. I guess that would kind of make sense in a way of why, in a dream it feels real, but as soon as you wake up, you're like, oh, it's fine. So you say, wow, I went a little too deep there. So you're saying it's easier to remember dreams when you're dreaming? It's probably a bit more complicated than that, but that's the gist of it. So there are memories particular to dreams. I thought those dreams were just random images your brain assigned to the disjointed noise that went through your mind as you slept. Yeah? Narasaki shook her head with a smile. I think that happens too, but you also dream when you're asleep. As for the accuracy of dream memories, I don't think your memories of reality are all that much different. Well, in her case, yeah, that's actually true. Maybe it's because she has lived a life of dreams ever since Takako went missing. I suppose so. I experienced that firsthand. You really do know a lot of things, Narasaki. I've just had the opportunity to research this stuff for something else. What exactly do you research? Well, people store all kinds of things they see and hear in their heads, right? However, some things are stored in a way that you can remember and use them, while others are impossible to consciously pull out. Are you still with me? Yeah, I think so. They're called conscious memories and subconscious memories. Both are memories, but you only have access to the conscious ones. I was contemplating if one could prove the existence of subconscious thought, of a subconscious thought system consistently using those memories as well. I'm not sure I understand. What happens if you prove that? Well, all I want to know is how things work. Narasaki looked out the window. The evening sun illuminated her red hair, making it look almost like flames. Oh, that's right. The bird we saw yesterday is called a red-flanked bluetail. It's a winter bird that comes here from Shikoku. You looked it up? There's a bird encyclopedia in the library. It made a brief mention of the unhemispheric slow-wave sleep. Birds that travel long distances over the seasons have evolved so they can put half of their brain to sleep while the other remains alert. Apparently, it's not just birds either. Dolphins and seals are also capable of sleeping with one of their eyes closed. That's convenient. I wonder if I could work 24 hours a day if I could pull that off. As long as they abolish overtime agreements in the Labor Standard Act. Yeah, oh boy, that'd be interesting. It's actually quite interesting. Can such a thing really be possible? Narasaki inhaled a breath and smiled. I wonder what one side of their brain thinks as the other sleeps, and if the consciousness of the memories of the dreams, or the other half sleeps and remembers what happened during the time the other half was awake. I don't remember anything from when I sleep, so I imagine they wouldn't either. If that's so. Feeling my hands grow cold, I stuck them under the blanket covering my lap. Narasaki noticed and followed my motions with her gaze. Once again, the cold. What's your plan for today? I might just go back to my room and sleep. You're going to sleep again? My vision suddenly grew dark as I stood up. Making sure not to panic, I lowered my head a bit and endured it. I've been feeling really sleepy lately. I don't know if it's because I've changed beds, but I seem unable to get proper rest. The hallucinations might be one of the factors exhausting you. I saw Narasaki hold out her hand, and a few seconds of staring at it, I handed her the blanket. I'm no longer seeing them. Thanks. Is that so? What are you going to do after this? I have no plans. Narasaki? Yeah? You once said there existed another world in one's head. Yeah, I did. And Takako is there, isn't she? Narasaki slightly cocked her head, then nodded. I was thinking about what kind of place that it might be, and how Takako lives there. And what conclusion did you come to? The branches in front of the window trembled. Narasaki gave them a sidelong glance. There seemed to have been a bird out there, but it had since flown away. I don't know. Maybe she's seeing the past like I did during your hypnosis? Or maybe she feels as though she's in a dream. Both of those sound closer to a dream, but I believe it's much closer to the real world than you think. You know what it's like? Well, I can make an educated guess at least. Let's start with how it differs from reality. First, the passage of time must be quite vague, since you're creating the story of your own subconscious. No one remembers every tight little detail that happens during the day. But reality's like that as well, no? Yep, so no one in your world would notice anything strange. And the things you forget or are unable to be remembered simply disappear without a trace. Are there any differences? The sun rises in the west and sets in the east. Why? Sorry, I made it sound more confusing than I should have. It's because of how your eyes work. Your brain recognizes light as it strikes your retinas at the back of your eyes. However, since it passes through the lens in your eye, your brain actually gets the inverted image and also has the left and right backwards. However, in your world, no one is seeing their surroundings with their eyes. As such, top and bottom, as well as right and left, are inverted. That sounds weird. That does sound weird. I don't know if I've ever experienced that. If the cause is physical, such as the eyes inverting things, then wouldn't we all perceive our surroundings the same way in both worlds? No matter how I looked at it, Narasaki's statement didn't make much sense. Besides, there's no means to check or test how these things are supposed to work. In that hypothetical world, anyway. How could she be so certain? That's the trouble with psychology in general. It's a good science, but at the same time, it's pretty much impossible to verify, which makes it very hard to give it a really good rock-solid scientific basis. You just came up with that on the spot, didn't you? I gave Narasaki an incredulous look. Oops. He got me. That's not very helpful, Doctor. After that, Narasaki accompanied me back to my room, and soon left, saying she had to return the blanket. Oh, this is bugger's muddle. As soon as I mustered the willpower to get out of bed, I heard a knock on the door. Ah, hello. I circled around the time-traveling girl who seems to be in both worlds at once. I circled around the bed and turned the knob, opening the door. What greeted me was someone's forehead near the bottom of my field of view. It was Kozuha, holding a book. Hello. Here. I inspected the title of the book she handed me. It seemed to be an encyclopedia about plants and animals. I returned my gaze to Kozuha and saw her looking somewhere behind my back. Is this for me? I asked. She looked up at me, her thick brows knitted. But after a few moments, Kozuha seemed to have shifted her gaze back to the room. I realized it was the interior that seemed to have sparked her interest. Would you like to see the inside of the room? I opened the door wide and moved away from the doorway. Instead of going in, though, Kozuha looked up at me again and asked if I wasn't going to sleep. Oh, it's fine. It's still too early for bed anyway. After a few seconds of hesitation, Kozuha finally stepped into the room. Interesting. She momentarily glanced back as I closed the door, but soon returned her gaze to the room, looking over the ceiling and the walls. As Kozuha moved toward the cabinet, I picked up a cardigan from the dresser chair and put it over my shoulders. I then sat down in the chair by the window and opened up the book she'd brought. Flipping through a few pages, I saw introductions of various plants and animals, all illustrated with large, colorful pictures. The table of contents listed a number of different animal names. Though thick, the book was easy to carry in one hand. I imagine it was designed to allow one to quickly confirm things while out in the wilderness. That sounds very nice, very pleasant. Do you like old things? Do you like old things like this? I guess. Oh, that's what Kazuo said. Not as much as you or Nanae. Why do you ask? Few people ever come stay here in the middle of nowhere. All their regular customers have things like have a thing for old mansions. I see. What do you like about old things? Well, I suppose it's like Nanae said. You can trust them to serve you well, considering they haven't fallen apart after so many years of use. Kozuha picked up a transparent amber key holder from the dresser. Don't take it while I'm still looking, I joke. These antiques also make you imagine all sorts of things. It's fun thinking about what kind of European lady might have once been reflected in this mirror in the past, or how the mirror even found its way here to begin with. It makes me wonder how the mirror must have felt about reflecting a pair of black eyes and dark hair after seeing blonde hair and blue eyes its all its life. That's really interesting. It sounds silly, but at the same time, like, sometimes it really does feel like objects have at least somewhat of a mind, of a soul. It's honestly one of the more believable oddities I could actually get behind someday. Like, if I ever saw any evidence for it, especially. But it's like part of you. I don't know. It's like in the song in Pocahontas, I remember growing up, and I loved the concept, the idea that like every rock, every spirit has in every rock, every tree, every spirit has a place, kind of an idea. That the world is all alive, it's not just us. And that's why it had that concept, the concept of owning land was so foreign to the characters there, because the land was a land, it was its own thing, and we just kind of borrowed parts of it every once in a while. But the colonials and the Western thinking was very much about legal rights to land and operation and all that. I don't know. I just don't feel like the world is so empty that places and things don't have some place in the scope of things. Kind of like the idea of not Plato's The Cave, but Socrates' philosophy that there are examples of perfect things, perfect items, perfect in form that exist, and that everything we have is a copy of that perfect form based on its function, like a chair. There is the ideal chair, like a perfect form that a chair could have, that all chairs are ultimately based off of. It's the concept of what a chair does, its essence. And every chair that we make deviates and is flawed in a sense based on the perfect version of the chair. And so you could, in his philosophy, you could argue that there is a place where the perfect chair exists, and that all chairs cognitively are based off them. I don't know if there is really such a physical place of such perfection. Maybe there is, but the idea behind how we live in a world of shadows based on a world of truth. It's interesting because it's such an interesting philosophy, and yet it kind of does start to tie into some of the ideas that we start having about things like the quantum world, where there are these laws that we don't seem to quite understand, but they have a natural order that's perfect. For instance, having reflected particles where they line up opposite of each other, and if you flip one, the other one flips no matter how far away they are, and it's instantaneous, despite the fact that they don't have to have communication with each other. And we've seen that kind of thing. And we've seen light quantum teleportation tests that have been successful by the same idea that on a quantum level things are tied perfectly to each other, and that they follow a set of rules that just seems so much higher than the rules that we deal with physically. And so believing that there's this second stage, there's like an ideal stage versus what we see every day, is kind of appealing to me in a way. It's hard to really explain it better than that, and I don't think that was a great explanation. Kozo placed the key holder back on the dresser. Instead, she picked up a glass toy from it and sat down in the chair facing me. "Did you come here alone?" she asked. "Yes." The glass toy had seaweed and fish painted on it. It was filled with water in small rings of various colors. There was also a pool inside, which, to my understanding, was used to catch those rings. Oh, I've seen those toys before. However, I think it's odd. She says yes, but then Dr. Narasaki did come, which we didn't travel here with her, but she did join us. So I would say, yeah, but no. Kozuo pushed a button at the bottom of the case, which made the colored rings dance all over the case due to the artificial current. Oh, that's nostalgic. There was a similar toy in the beauty salon I used to visit. Huh? She pushed the button harder, trying to collect the rings on the edges, but instead ended up losing the one she'd already caught. She furrowed her brows. I shifted my gaze back to my book and turned to the page about winter. "Oh, I almost forgot. Thanks for the other day," said Kozo with a certain abruptness. "Don't worry about it. I had fun too." I found a cute picture of a long-tailed tit. Excuse me. There were 4 of them in a long tree branch. They all looked like tiny white balls of fur with black spots for eyes and beaks. The one on the far left was looking straight at the camera. With its head tilted to the side, it appeared almost befuddled. I love that word, befuddled. It's a good one, befuddled. Feeling someone's gaze on me, I looked up from my book. Kozuo stopped playing with her rings and was looking at me. The irises of her big eyes gave me a long, hard stare, as if trying to penetrate my very soul. "Is something the matter?" "You're weird." I had never seen our irises as light in color as hers. Combined with her refined features, Kozuo's gaze appeared almost uncanny. Most people would have trouble meeting a gaze like hers. "Me? Really? But I was told the same thing, that I'm weird." "Who told you that?" "My uncle and my physics teacher." I tried imagining the context of that could have happened, but nothing concrete came to mind. "What do you think is weird about you?" "I don't know." "Then what do you think is weird about me?" "You're like me, yet you also keep talking to me. And you have this odd, mysterious feeling about you." Kozo was a bit too forward for her own good, and her glance could occasionally be intimidating, but her cute looks approaching and talking to her didn't feel all that odd to me. But perhaps my trip to a faraway place had left me in a state of mild euphoria, which could impede my judgment. I honestly couldn't tell. "There are all sorts of people in the world." I told her I wasn't that weird. Kozuo, however, seemed to hesitate to believe me. Interesting. This is the other thing too, remember how I was debating a while ago whether or not Dr. Narasaki was actually there or she was a hallucination? I was wondering if the hallucination could extend to the point where Sachiko, in the parts where we were looking through the eyes of Dr. Narasaki, that we were actually Sachiko in those moments, is kind of something I wish I could believe, but there's just there's no evidence to support that whatsoever. I keep trying to find the Da Vinci Code in this. I don't know if there is one, but there's something. Wait. I don't know. I think we can go through one more scene change, possibly. As I strolled through the inner yard, escorting Kozo outside, I spotted Nanae through the cafeteria's window. Nanae seemed deep in thought, staring at the surface of the table. She failed to notice me even as I approached the window. I lightly knocked on the window glass. Though initially startled, she turned to me with a smile. She made a gesture, inviting me inside. As I had no other plans anyway, I entered the building through the side door and continued to the cafeteria. Hello! She's very much like Takako, especially when she had the uncanny resemblance. But I also at the same time, I like her. I like her a lot. She's really fun. Of course, I also like Takako, so it goes to show, right? Inside, Nanae was examining a large piece of paper, a floor plan, spread out on the table along with a bunch of pictures depicting furniture. Man, it really kicked in the really elegant music here. I brought some new furniture, so I was thinking of redecorating a few rooms. I see. Upon closer inspection, I realized that a large piece of paper was the floor plan of the mansion, complete with Nanae's hand-drawn sketches of each individual room's interior. She also had the pictures of furniture aligned to each room, making the floor plan easy to understand. Some of them seemed to have been taken back in their home countries, while others were shot in this very mansion. How do you want to change it? I felt our lobby was a bit too empty, so I was thinking about placing a bookshelf there. And these two rooms have too much of a country atmosphere compared to the rest, so I want to make them more traditionally Western. Nanae showed me pictures from the room. I see. And these are new furniture? Yeah, Nanae nodded as I looked over the pictures. Do you often do this kind of redecoration? Once a year or so. It's more like a hobby of mine, to be honest. Hobby? Aw, that's cute. Yeah, it's like a hobby. I'm turning this place into something closer to my ideal. What kind of ideal is that, exactly? Well, in short, an old Western mansion, like the ones you see in the movies. The very first owners of this place were actually a Westerner, and it used to be the exact style I like. Fortunately, the next owner thought the place felt old and dusty, so he decided to replace all the furniture with more modern stuff. Well, it wasn't particularly ugly or anything, but my mother took over the mansion before he changed everything. So now we're stuck in this weird transitional phase. I want to unify the atmosphere to match either of the two styles, and if possible, I prefer the original, old-fashioned one. I see. I mean, most of our guests are into historical things like that. Why else would they come visit a place out here in the middle of nowhere? Nanae returned to her work, rearranging the pictures while mumbling to herself. Maybe I should change the chair and the shelves in this room, and place a remaining table in this one. Like this. Nanae rearranged the pictures and gave me a "what do you think" kind of look. I think that sounds nice, but don't you think those tables and chairs are far too big for this room? Depending on where you place the chairs, you might have trouble opening doors in this wardrobe. Nanae gave the floor plan another look. You have a point. I guess I can't change the table in this room after all. What do you think about this new reading corner? Said reading corner was situated in an extra space in the lobby. It consisted of a small bookshelf, a small knee-high round table, and a largest one-seater sofa. I think it's nice, but maybe too functional if you're going for the atmosphere. For example, if you put a shelf against this wall between the entrance and the corridor, use this tail writer's desk instead of a small table, then put your sofa here. Don't you think it looks better that way? I rearranged her pictures. Yeah, you were right. It's definitely looking good. It's like a small study now. Makes me want to add a little bit more miscellaneous fluff though, like a desk lamp and such. She puts out an album with a picture of all sorts of decorations. I read her line wrong, I'm sorry. It's so hard to tell who's talking! You seem to be enjoying this. I am. I love stuff like this. I enjoy imagining how my guests will use them and such. For example, this chair in the lobby is real comfortable. It's perfect for reading a book in the afternoon with some light coming in through the stained glass. It's calming enough to make you forget the passage of time and let you get immersed in your book or newspaper or whatever. But once the sun begins to set, the light falling on you from this angle will serve as a reminder of what time it is. But you already have that big clock in the lobby. It's gonna be so comfortable you'll forget all about it. I tried to recall the last time I focused so hard on my reading that I completely blocked out the sound of the outside world. I soon gave up and just gave her a patronizing okay. I think I actually did it today, stupidly, at the DMV. I was reading some of the paperwork as we were getting ready to transfer over, get our car registered and stuff. Like, absolute boring of the boring. And I think they called my number up to go take care of it and get me processed, and I missed it. So I ended up being at the DMV for an extra, 2 hours. Because, yay me, my life is great. Actually, it was pretty good, but the DMV wasn't fun. I'm serious. Well, I understand what you're trying to say, more or less. Really? She gave me a skeptical look, but her expression soon changed. Ah, that's right. You're a professional as far as design is concerned. I guess you would understand a creative spirit, she added. It wasn't me, but a friend of mine in kindergarten built a waterway in a sandbox to amuse herself. Huh? Nanae knitted her eyebrows and gave me a puzzled look. You dig a bunch of little ditches in a sandbox, like a labyrinth, then use a garden hose to fill them with water. I shouldered the sides of the ditches with my fingers. The ones who had to pay the water bill probably weren't too amused. I nodded. That's what she said. You bet. It was a sandbox behind our apartment, and the landlord was fuming when he found out what she was doing. Apparently, the park behind our building was also his property, and he was responsible for water bills. Ouch. Anyway, you can make tunnels, mountains, and lakes in sand like that. When I asked her why she went to such lengths for a simple game, she said it made so the tadpoles and water striders wouldn't be bored. That sounds like Takako. I actually did spot some water striders in her waterways. Most of them flew away soon after, but one continued along the waterway, even passing under the tunnel. I think I get the picture, but I'm not sure how I feel about being compared to that. Nanae made a complex expression, smiling with her lips and eyes while also knitting her eyebrows in a display of embarrassment. I suppose so. I was thinking of using an example with a deserted island or a diorama, but chose a more unusual one instead. I'm kind of curious about that deserted island now. But that girl who made the waterways and the sand, well, she later turned out to be quite talented in the field of design. I guess that makes it better. I do admit this place is a bit like my personal miniature garden, or sandbox. I think everyone has something like that, just on a different scale. I guess so. Exactly what kind of Western mansion do you want to turn this place into? I'm trying to recreate the style of when this mansion was actually used for normal residents. My mother showed me some of the old pictures of the place, and I got totally enthralled by them. Back then, though, I wasn't entirely sure what made me feel that way. And now? Nanae paused to think for a few moments. Well, the one thing I can tell is that it was completely different from what we have now. I mean, back in those days, the Western design incorporated a variety of styles, sometimes remixing Renaissance, Neoclassic, Vienna, Secession, and other approaches. I think one of the charms got me was how they seemed to favor style over functionality. Our modern architecture copied the functional parts of Western style, but they valued artistic merit just as much as convenience. What we currently have is a result of an attempt to speedily rebuild Japan after the war, as well as to make sure our cities don't fall apart during earthquakes, the epitome of efficiency and minimal costs. Smiling, Nanae snapped her fingers as I replied. That's exactly right. All this historical background is precisely what I love about old architecture. The current design of the Western mansion was born as a result of trial and error approach of various artisans who all had their own ideas of what perfect work should look like. When you stand in an old room like that, you can't help but feel anxiety and anticipation of the early modern age. However, just as you say, these kinds of mansions stopped being built after the war, giving way for more functional structures. Our cities look like a completely different shape compared to what those artists of old envisioned. It's like the war had made our paths diverge. Yeah, I would do that. Wars, especially a big war like that, makes a big difference. So when I'm in a place like this... Oh, that's her actually. So when I'm in a place like this, I get a sense of being abandoned by time. A vague and pregnant emptiness similar to watching dinosaur bones in a museum. The strong and deep emotions of old have seeped into the very walls of such places, silently drifting in the air all around people like us, ignorant of time. Anyway, this feeling is precisely what draws me to antiques. I imagine that must have been pretty hard to understand. Sorry. No, I think I can empathize with them on some level. Whew, I can't just blurted out whatever popped into my mind. Guess I'm glad I ended up making some sort of iota of sense. It's a complex feeling, but I think I've experienced it myself. Nice. I obviously didn't think about it that deeply as a child, but the feeling I got when I saw those pictures was something similar, I think. I was seeing it for the first time, and yet for some reason, it felt like somewhat nostalgic and lonely. I guess I've liked complex feelings like that ever since I was young. Anyway, I ended up going off tangent there, but basically, I want to turn this mansion into the kind of place that gives me the same kind of feeling as those pictures. I'm no one for flattery, but I like this place. Thanks. I tried, she added with a smile. But it definitely doesn't feel complete yet. There are still bunches of rooms that feel like they could use some work, especially when you compare them to those pictures. Atmosphere is not easy to recreate. Yeah. After all, it usually is the unique sensitivities of the age that translate into peculiarities of design. Perhaps it's impossible to perfectly recreate it to begin with. However, if I wait for the place and age naturally, I'll end up 6 feet under before I achieve anything I'm satisfied with. So you're planning to do as much as you can for now? Yep, Nanae answered, flashing a happy smile. Anyway, will you help me out on this, now that you've heard my story and everything? Sure. To the best of my abilities, at least. I sat down in the chair facing Nanae. She, too, lowered herself into a nearby seat. I think I got bit by a mosquito. We spent the time discussing the layouts of the room and the mansion. We kept rearranging pictures and sketching new plans. We exchanged ideas, nodding to each other, or shook our heads. Whenever there was a prolonged period of silence, Nanae would start humming a song under her breath. A song that most people had likely heard at one point in their lives. At first, I didn't pay it much attention, but the more she repeated that one phrase. Oh, okay, I get it. Why does Mary only ever have sheep? Huh? I guess it's just the first thing that came to mind of whoever wrote it. Now that you asked, I wonder who Mary even is. She's a girl with sheep, character of some Western folktale. The song was actually from a folktale? Mary Sawyer takes sheep from the school, which causes a commotion. To the school. Seriously? I've always thought Mary was the name of the sheep. If that were the case, you'd end up with sheep owning a sheep. Guess so. That's why I thought it was weird. I guess I'm stupid, Nanae chuckled to herself. I couldn't help chuckling myself. I bet Auntie doesn't know either. Let's tell her later. I feel like she would know. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Nanae returned her eyes to the pictures and resumed her work. I started moving my hands as well. I think that's about it. I didn't take us long, and Nanae had already more or less decided what she wanted for her lobby for the 2 rooms before I came. Okay, so now we have to actually set up the furniture and see things for ourselves before we can come to a decision, Nanae muttered under her breath. When will that be? It's still a ways off. Some of the furniture hasn't even been delivered yet. I'd love to do it right away, but what can you do? Nanae began clearing the pictures and drafts from the table. I stuffed the writing utensils in the case I found lying around. I see. Nanae thanked me as I handed her the case. I can definitely tell you're a professional. I think those rooms are going to look really awesome now. I'm glad to have been of help. And it was way more fun to do it together. I'll prepare you something great for dinner as a token of my appreciation. That sounds nice. Nanae stretched her back and walked off towards the counter, saying she'll make some more coffee. They drink a lot of coffee. I leaned back against the chair while setting her off. I suddenly felt my body become heavy. She gonna fall asleep right here, huh? Chico? I felt like someone had just called out to me. Opening my eyes, I saw Nanae right in front of me. There were 2 cups of steaming coffee on the table. Did you get tired? Seems that way. I've been feeling kind of easily fatigued lately. I brought the cup closer to my chest, letting the smell of the coffee dispel some of my drowsiness. Are you having enough rest? Yes. I see. If there's a problem with the room or something, don't hesitate to tell me. Thanks. But I like that room. There are no problems as far as I'm aware. I swirled the coffee in the cup a little before taking a sip. I felt this bitterness spread across my tongue. By the way, have you spoken with Auntie since then? Huh? No, why? The last time I spoke to her was when I went to her underground room with Kozawa and Narasaki. At least I didn't remember talking to her ever since then. She was asking about you, so I wondered if maybe something had happened. Nothing that I'm aware of. I see. Nanae returned her eyes to the pictures and began doing something again. My auntie looks like she's had her head in the clouds, but she's actually extremely sharp. I lost something a few times, and when I had already given up on seeing them ever again, she just found them right away after hearing a few clues. I don't know why, but when the locals around here have problems, they tend to go to her for advice. If you've got something on your mind, you can always try talking to her. I recall the laid-back air Lily had about her when we met her. I have to admit, she did feel like someone you could rely on. I see you trust her quite a bit. I just trust her vast life experience. I'll make sure to talk to her if I find myself troubled by something. Please do. She's a good listener. Now that I think about it, maybe she just wants to speak to someone new, which perfectly explains her interest in you. As we finished our coffee, Nanae stood up and collected all the materials we'd piled up on the corner of the table. I think I'll go start preparing dinner. Do you have any other plans for today? No. Would you like me to help you with the cooking? No need. You're a guest here, Sachiko. You should relax. But preparing meals together could be fun. We left the cafeteria together and parted ways in the lobby. Those two. Interesting. I wonder if they're going to be brave enough to actually admit their feelings. I'm not sure what this is going to be, but I think we've actually done enough for today. This feels like it's been long enough. I don't know. I actually like this one. This was nice and mellow. Nothing crazy going on. No creepy stories. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of Sachiko Takako. But if Sachiko is never going to see Takako again, Nanae is a fantastic character too. So, like, Takako, for me, it seems like Takako's a little bit more on like the crazier, spazzier side. And Takako seems to me like the best friend. Like, she's like the person who I wish I could have as a best friend all the time. Because she'd take me on these crazy adventures that I'd be a little too timid to do to myself, but I'd be super happy to do. Nanae to me seems more, I don't know, like me in a way. Like, I can relate with her character a bit more, even though it's so funny because like they're portrayed as being very similar characters, but in essence they aren't, because Takako is so kind of all over the place, and Nanae is she gets very focused and she has like a drive and passion. Takako had her passion, but remember, even in the fake memories, whether they're real or not, she was very wandering. She'd get her work done, but she took the roundabout way to get there. Nanae seems more like she sets her eyes on a goal and she goes for it. But she also takes time to stop and really enjoy life. So she seems like somebody who would be really fun to be around as well. And so it's interesting. I don't know. Like, I'm curious to see where this is all going to go. But anyway, thank you so much for everything today. Thank you so much for spending your time with me and, just being here. It's just good having you around as always. And I appreciate you guys taking your time with the smaller series as always. Like, it doesn't get as much attention as Love or Steins Gate, but that's the way things go. And I appreciate those of you who do take your time, because this is a good journey and it's fun to explore with you. So anyway, thank you so much for being here today, and until the next video, watching me or whatever to see me in next, I'll see you there.